Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader when the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. 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 Follow the leader.
Ciara.
Yes, sir.
Ciara.
Catch me in the mall, you know I buyed out G5 plane. Yeah, I flied out. On the back, look like Lex sitting on 28. No, you can't get her if you ain't got plenty cake. ATL, Georgia, booties look like this size. 23 waist, pretty face, dick thighs.
I can do it big, I can do it long, I can do it whenever or however you want. I can do it up and down, I can do circles. To him I'm a gymnast, this is my circus. I market it so good, they can't wait to try me. I work it so good, man, he's trying to buy me. They know the way I ride it, they know the way I ride it. They know the way
Happy
I
Friday!
ride
Welcome
it.
in.
They know the way I ride
Probably some writing going on. Get your snacks and libations. Before you do, you might be riding out in the sunset, Andy. Get ready to get into these trending topics and headlines. You know Andy is always on theme. Shout out to Ciara. We're going to be getting into a little conversation with her. Ciara has something to say for all of you individuals that call Russell Wilson corny. So we're going to get into that. Also, she has a cute video out with her talking to her daughter, her oldest daughter, Cece. And Ride is her daughter's favorite song. Ciara was embarrassed by it. She was like doing the motions and everything. Ciara was like, no. That was my joint, though. Shout out to that. So we're going to get into those details. You know, love, legacy, and a little bit of drama. We're talking about Eve. She's pulling back the curtain on her short-lived romance with Suge Knight and how it shook up Interscope. We're going to get into those details. Plus, it's New Music Friday, so we're going to run down a bunch of new music drops because there's a lot of new music out there. So we're going to get into those details. And we're also talking Karyn White, you know, she of Superwoman, Terry Lewis of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis's ex-wife. She talks about regaining her confidence to step back into the music industry and how she sustained herself for about 17 years after her divorce from Carrie. So we'll get into that. And Legends Only, we got interviews coming up tonight from the Harold Carole Pump Foundation charity dinner. I'm talking South Central legend Darryl Strawberry, Eric Davis, Byron Scott, Spike Lee, oh my God, Sugar Ray Leonard. There's more. We'll get into that and, you know, sit tight for that. There's some fun in that interview. Now, before we get into all of that, right, we got to pour up these new releases for Friday night. First of all, Doja Cat has a new single. It's called Jealous Type. It reminds me of an 80s vibe. You know, I love Doja. That's my girl. And I'm really feeling the visuals. It's giving a little Jim and the holograms. It's very, very 80s influenced. I like it. Tiana Taylor's new one, Escape Room, dropped. It's a visual album. Go check it out. Mariah the Scientist dropped. She has a new single, Sacrifice, from her Hearts Sold Separately album. That debuted at number 3 on Apple Music. Speaking of Ciara, she has a new single out with Tyga, Dance With Me. There's a cameo of Russell Westbrook in the video. Offset and Gunna dropped Different Species. And Ghostface Killah, he dropped a new one. It's Supreme Clientele 2. You know, that was a hip-hop classic, Supreme Clientele. So on this one, he has Nas, Raekwon, Method Man, GZA, Styles P, and more. So it's a lot of music that dropped today. I want to know if you guys are checking any of it out, how you feel about it, because, music is an interesting space right now. I don't know. People are kind of in it for a day and then moving on, And shout out to Lori Harvey. We know that Reasonable Doubt Season 3 is dropping September 19th. Lori has a role in it. And she hears you guys talking mess about her and jumping into the acting game. She told people, I'm a new actress. I think this day and age of social media, people don't really understand that everybody has to start somewhere. My goal is to take it as far as I can. So she's playing Chelsea in Reasonable Doubt, an unpredictable force that is going to impact Jax in many ways. She was just featured in the Peacock limited series Fight Night, the $1 Million Heist as Lola Falana. So, give Lori some space to grow. That is one thing I don't like about this era. We think people do one thing or make one mistake, and that's where they are forever and ever. And that's just not the case. We got to leave some room for growth. When we come forward, more trending topics and headlines. Yeah.
Your ride with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Lowe's has the Labor Day deals you need to give your home a new look. Buy one, get one free select interior paint via Visa gift card rebate. Then, add the final touch with 2 for $8 on select 2.5 or 3-quart mums. Refresh your home and save big while doing it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 9/3. Mums offer in-store only. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready to be a part of the conversation that will help shape our nation's future? Get ready to join us for the Left Coast Forum, Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech, where progressive voices will come together to tackle the issues that matter most to working families across Los Angeles and beyond. From economic justice to climate action, from healthcare to housing, we're bringing together the brightest minds and most passionate advocates for real solutions and real change. With workshops, 2 major keynote addresses, and a closing reception with great music and good food. It's the Left Coast Forum, where your voice matters and your ideas take action. Saturday, October 25th at LA Trade Tech. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the LA Progressive. The future won't wait, and neither should you. Mark your calendar now to be there and be heard. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yo, they wanna know who's that girl. Come on, he's that girl. Who's that girl? He's that girl. Can I turn you on?
Welcome back in. It's Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Another song that was my theme song at one point in time, because I'm that girl. Duh. All right, look. You know how this goes down. If you want to get in on the conversation, 800-920-1580. Of course, you can hit us up on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill. Hit me up and subscribe to my newsletter, rsvpforcredentials.com. That's where you can sign up. And, you know, I almost forgot to do this. So if you're watching on YouTube, right? And you guys definitely should watch on YouTube. Join the YouTube chat. It's a community over there. Chat. Download the app too. Listen, you see I have on my Kobe Bryant jersey, right? Kobe Bryant number 8 jersey, right? Shout out to Kobe Bryant. His birthday is tomorrow. We still miss him. Of course, Sunday is Mamba Day, 8/24. So I got to represent. All love to Kobe, man.
And didn't the Bryant family release some new Kobe shoes?
They may have. They're always this weekend is the Mamba Invitational Tournament.
Okay.
Downtown LA. There might be a new Mamba dropping.
So you don't know about the ad with Natalia and I want to say Jalen Brunson?
Oh, I must have missed it. How am I missing out?
Google it. I think it's called the Pro Tip, something like that. Number 4.
Is it gonna make everybody cry?
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
You should check it out during the break.
I'm going to check it out. All right, listen. Andy's always on theme, so you know we had to drop a little bit of that Who's That Girl, not just because I feel like it's one of my theme songs. I feel like it is. But because we're talking Eve. Now, we know she dropped her memoir, Who's That Girl, not too long ago. And in it, Eve shared details about briefly dating Suge Knight. This was back in 2001. Now, first, let me say this. Suge Knight had women, right? A lot of women that y'all may not know about. Some you may have heard rumors of, but Suge Knight was pulling them down. He's charming. Suge Knight is a handsome man. And he doesn't present as the Suge Knight Death Row Records we all know. Maybe that appears later. But, yeah, Suge had the chicks. Andy?
First off, I did not know this information. But I think it gives credence as to why she has went to the other side.
Why? Oh, because why? Suge, Stevie J.
Come on.
I mean, she dated Sean Penn. Sean Penn doesn't exactly have a squeaky clean rep.
I didn't even know about that either. But, I mean, Suge Knight, Stevie J. Come on, y'all done messed it up for the homies, man.
So, listen. Eve said that she dated Suge briefly after her fallout with Dr. Dre. Right? After their collaboration fallout. So, you know, Eve was once signed to Aftermath as Eve of Destruction. She recorded some stuff. You know, Dre's a perfectionist and he never dropped it. Really, the only artist on Aftermath who came out, Truth Hurts, right? Who was that? Busta Rhymes was on Aftermath for a small little minute. We never saw Rakim, right? There's a couple others that we didn't see through, but we didn't see much R&B from him or whatever, and no female rappers. Like, I don't think Rage left. I don't think Rage was ever on Aftermath, just Death Row. I don't think we ever got a full cut from her. So, you know, she was a little mad, a little salty about the way things ended. So she thought that, you know, she would get back at Dre, as, you know, sometimes young people do immature things, and date his former boss. That's how she put it. At Death Row, she said he was stumping around Interscope, and she felt like that was some street revenge. She said, I'm not really sure how I concocted this idea, yet there we were, right? And Suge also had a reputation for helping people get out of sticky contracts within the industry. We know he helped Jodeci at one point, supposedly gave Mary J. Blige some information, little info to Chili from TLC, as well as dating Left Eye. And, you know, if you listen to Suge, he dated Chili too. I'm just saying. But he also was helpful. Now, I don't know if that was just reading contracts or being intimidating, but he helped them all out, right? Eve claims that Suge started getting involved in her business with Interscope and Jimmy Iovine, right? And she said that the relations between her and the label started souring because of this. Because, you know, anytime you pull out a bully, especially a street bully, that's when corporate, they don't want to play those games. At least not if it's not benefiting them. Sometimes they'll dabble, right? But that's a story for another day. She said that she felt like Jimmy took his anger out on her third album. She said that she ended the relationship on the advice of Rough Riders co-founders D and Wadeen, right? And they said that they didn't like the idea of her hanging out with Suge at all. And she said that when her guys told her it was time to cut the cord, she didn't think twice. She said that Suge's reaction to her decision to call the relationship quit was like, if you were my little sis, I would tell you to do the same thing. So, you know, he wasn't mad. He understood. And, I mean, he knows what comes with him, right? So, listen, we all do some things. Some people are like, she's a married woman now. Why is she revealing this? She wrote a memoir, guys. You want to know her journey, the things that she went through? You got to be honest about that. And let's be honest about us as people. We like to hear about some of that stuff. We do. You know? And she said that she and her husband were very upfront, open, and honest with each other about everything about themselves and their past. So I'm sure he probably already knew this. I'm sure he wasn't tripping. He probably was like, what's a Suge Knight? Because he's British, right? But I don't know why people get so tricky and emotional and touchy about some of these things. So, you know, shout out to Eve, man, for keeping it real. The chat is checking in. Maurice Geis in the chat says he and Kobe share the same birthday. That little Leo Virgo cusp, or is the 23rd officially? Maurice, what do you consider yourself? I know Kobe considered himself a Virgo. So just curious. I know somebody else who has that birthday and they consider themselves a Leo. Maybe depends, but shout out to that. Listen, we got to move on, right? We have to grow, and it's okay to share our former experiences. We don't just have to bury everything. People are so reactionary about those type of things. At any rate, Eve recently sold her back catalog for somewhere between 25 and 50 million to Iconoclast. That was in 2023. And it also includes her Billboard #1 single. So, you know, Eve got her own coins too. And she made it clear recently that her husband is not a billionaire, but he's good, right? Really, really good. So shout out to that. Okay. Since we're talking about women that have moved on, elevated, and glowed up, let's get into Cece. So Ciara was recently on The Breakfast Club. I mentioned at the top of the hour that she has a new single and album coming out. So she's around promoting it, doing various things. And Charlemagne asked how she felt when people call Russell Wilson corny. Ciara said that Russ is the most amazing human that you could ever know. And, you know, DJ Envy noted that Russ is often criticized and mocked for being a family man and for being a stepfather to future son, being a man, i.e., right? And Ciara's clapback was, have you ever loved someone right? About the people talking trash about that. Have you ever been loved right? I feel like that's a fair question. So let's get into the details of what Ciara had to say about the critiques of Russell Wilson.
Question, and this is not how I feel, so don't take it off me. No, when you hear people say
he's so funny because he be over there waiting like, just waiting.
No, not to be rude.
What you want to ask
me? People say Russell Wilson is corny. What's your honest reaction?
Oh my gosh, that I don't have to even reply to that because you know, like that. Why would I even respond to that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what I know, and that's all that matters. But he is the most amazing human being you could know. The smartest, most intelligent, black man that I have ever known.
Doesn't bother him though. Doesn't bother him because I feel like he gets it because he takes care of his wife.
And we've had conversations up here as men saying like, I don't understand why he gets called a simp.
Well, I think it depends on who's. Wait. Who's the man saying it?
Mm-hmm. Well, Channing Crowder said it once.
No, we ain't gonna call no names.
She wasn't saying names. She wasn't saying names. She's like, what kind of guy is saying it?
I'm not gonna go down a specific lane because I don't want to. I'm just saying who's the man saying it, right? It's like someone saying a person doesn't love someone, but have you ever loved someone right? Mm-hmm. Have you ever been loved right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes people, to me, speak out of pocket because they just don't know. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's versus being mad about it, just be like, God bless them. Mm-hmm. You know, like,
because it's obviously something that they're lacking.
It's just, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but it's like, I don't have to live my life to prove anything to anybody. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I think, sometimes too, people have a perspective just because of how they see life. Mm-hmm. And that just may be their way, but to me, too bad for them if they want to live life a certain way and love people a certain way. Right. Too bad for them.
The Atlanta never wants to come out of you. Like one time, like the Atlanta just say, "Yo, suck my from the back," like that.
First of all, that's New York. That's in Atlanta. That's a good time.
Listen. Let me tell you. Do I want to say stuff sometimes? Absolutely. But is it worth it? No.
So, I often wonder why men were so upset about Russ stepping up and being a man, especially men that have children and aren't with the current child's mother. One, wouldn't you want a male involved in your son's life if you aren't going to be there daily that is kind, respectful, and cares about your child? Don't you want more love, right, for that child? And also, I just truly don't understand why there's such bitterness about a woman moving on to a good man who is doing the right thing. Like, why is that sucker-ish? I really don't understand that. Why do... And I'm not saying this, but, a lot of the Dusties that had commentary on this probably, maybe might have a couple of seeds everywhere. I get it. If you don't have any children and you don't want to take care of someone else's children, male or female, that is your right. And you are entitled to that. But one, you don't have to shade someone else that is participating in that because that doesn't involve you. You got a choice and you're choosing differently. Right? And two, why does that make a person weak? When what are you saying about the men that are out here haphazardly spreading their seeds, right? Knowing they can't necessarily be in all places at the same time, right? You spend more time on the women having babies by Nick Cannon. I have questions too. I'm not saying that. But not on Nick, what are you doing? Right? Anthony Edwards, skate. Tyreek Hill, not a real problem. What's up with that? Future? Y'all jumping in for Future? How many kids does Future have? A lot, right? A lot. So why is he the sucker, Russ, and not Future? Because Future says he discards chick. What do you think happens when you discard someone? One man's trash is another man's treasure. All of those good things. You're some recycled something and you expect a new fresh woman delivered on your doorstep? Why are you entitled to that and not women? Andy?
Responsibility is corny.
Why though?
Me making that statement, I'm not in agreement.
No, I know. I get what you're saying.
I really don't know, to be honest with you. Part of me wants to say it's systemic. Part of me wants to say it's Willie Lynch. You feel me? But I can't call it. I don't know. What's cool is to be against the grain.
But see, here's against the grain. it sounds like for a lot of people at that time, Russ was going against the grain, because going with the grain would be, I ain't being with her. She got a kid. I ain't taking care of no dude's kids.
I just think that, generally speaking, I think a lot of people identify with themselves. Like they look at Future and they identify themselves within somebody with the aesthetic and the aura of a Future, as opposed to a Russell Wilson, who's clean cut for the most part, you know? And that's kind of telling for the community. But that's not saying that we don't got no clean cut cats in the community. But hell, everybody who's clean cut, who does their homework, who goes to school, who goes to work on time, who handles their responsibility at home.
So, I mean, because you know what I think is interesting? Nobody's throwing shade at Ant, Chris Brown's manager that married Monica. Monica has 3 children, and this is no shade to Monica. I love Monica, and I'm happy. I think people deserve a second go-round, but nobody has shade for that. Monica has 3 children by 2 different men, one being her ex-husband, and people don't have no smoke for that. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines.
A sword slicing gently through my body, burns so sweet. Blood boils when you speak, makes me weak, but I refuse to weep. Yet when I sleep, I feel tears trickling down my cheek. Stay strong, pride telling me move on. My heart's fighting me, forcing me to hold on. Yours forever, fell for you beyond measure, pure as ever, amazed by sins of treasure.
You're in the know with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A new study finds air pollution from U.S. oil and gas companies is hitting minorities the hardest, causing 91,000 premature deaths each year. Black, Asian, Native American, and Hispanic communities bear the biggest toll, with links to asthma, preterm births, and early deaths. There's a shakeup at New Orleans City Hall. Joe Threat has been named Chief Administrative Officer as Black Mayor LaToya Cantrell faces a federal indictment on wire fraud and obstruction charges. Threat, who's worked in various city roles since 2018, most recently oversaw infrastructure. Mayor Cantrell's court date is set for September. And HBCU Howard University's 18th president, Ben Vinson III, will step down on August 31st. Vinson, who began his tenure in September 2023, thanked the university community and reflected on advancing its strategic goals. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Santa Clarita on the 5 northbound before Lyons. The 2 right lanes remain off limits due to an earlier crash, and cleanup that continues. Big delays are pushing back away from the 170 merge, and it's affecting the 405 northbound as well. Delays out of the Sepulveda Pass from Skirball Center to the 5 merge in Silmar. The 210 westbound also feeling the effect with a slow drive away from the 118 to the 5 merge. The drive on the 10 eastbound slowing out of Santa Monica from Centinela as you make your way to the 5 in Boyle Heights.
Attention 405 drivers. From 10 p.m. Friday, August 22nd to 5 a.m. Monday, August 25th, the 405 will be down to 3 lanes in both directions through Sepulveda Pass. Expect delays. Plan ahead, take alternate routes, or use public transit. Follow at Caltrans District 7 for updates.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The first college football game of the 2025 season is an HBCU matchup. Tomorrow night in Atlanta, North Carolina Central and Southern University will meet up in the SWAC MEAC Challenge. Southern is a longtime member of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. North Carolina Central is in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. ABC will have live coverage at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time. This is the final weekend for NFL preseason games. It's a last chance opportunity for players battling for a roster spot. All teams will be making final cuts on Tuesday to reach the 53-man roster limit. With 3 weeks left in the regular season, the WNBA has set a new attendance record with 2.5 million fans going to games. The previous mark was set in 2002 when the WNBA had 16 teams. The league has 13 teams today. The LA Sparks rank 4th in the WNBA with an average attendance of 12,234. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you missed any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcasts of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader.
Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
You have cancer. The 3 words no one wants to hear. Of the cancers that impact our community, lung cancer is the most dangerous. More people succumb to lung cancer than colon, breast, and prostate combined. Black men are 12% more likely to develop lung cancer, and cases for black women are rising. Early detection and comprehensive treatment is the best way to beat this dreaded disease. Providence is a research leader in multi-cancer early detection, offering blood tests that identify fast-spreading cancers that don't show symptoms in early stages. The Providence Los Angeles Integrated Network Cancer Program determines best protocols for each patient, interacting with specialists who share experiences, perspectives, and new findings specific to each case. With over 1,000 board-certified physicians, including top oncologists, surgeons, radiologists, and nurse specialists, Providence delivers whole-person care that understands your culture, values, preferences, and priorities. So, if you hear the words, "you have cancer," all you need is faith and providence.org/cancer.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has work source centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to Karyn White. That was such a bop. She was so beautiful. I was letting the vibe ride. Andy looked at me like, what's happening? I was just vibing a little bit. Karyn White was amazing to me. She was beautiful. She was talented. Probably the only person that did not like that Superwoman song, though. Hated it. Hated it. Hated it. I know why y'all love it. I did not. That's just it. Listen, in honor of Kobe, had I have been thinking, I would have done this, but I'm going to tell you an untold Kobe Bryant story. So back in the day when Kobe was doing his rap thing for a minute, he had a label deal where he was going to put out other artists as well, because initially Kobe was in a group and he wanted his people to be put on as well, his guys, right? So one of the things he did was he signed an artist named Unique from the Bronx. She was a mixtape rapper, really popular back then. Shout out to Unique, that's my homegirl. And they did a show at the House of Blues. You may have seen footage from it. Kobe had on this powder blue rocker-wear suit. He looked amazing. He got on stage. This was Fro Kobe. It was a hot night, right? One of the only times Kobe performed like hip hop or whatever. But what he also did was he wanted to do like his own posse cut kind of thing. Actually, I think I pitched the idea. So on this unreleased song, it's like Mia X, Big Tigger, oh God, why can't I remember who else? Dang, I can't remember who else. But it never came out because the label deal never ended up fully coming to fruition. It fell apart. Kobe lost interest and he met Vanessa and that stuff just crumbled away, and which is another story as well. But somewhere on YouTube, I need to find Unique's YouTube page, you can hear some of the unreleased Kobe Bryant raps. I think Kobe and Unique had a song, a duet that they did, and it's out there in YouTube land. I'll try and find the link for it and post it, but there you go. Kobe's rap career, in short. All right, so Karyn White, we just heard a little bit of her music. She married Terry Lewis of the world famous Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. They were married for about 7 years, from 1992 to 99. They have one daughter. And during that time period, Karyn decided to step away from music. I'm talking during her marriage to Terry Lewis, right? And after the two separated, Karyn was trying to figure out what she wanted to do next. So she talked about it in this clip. It was real estate, but she said that she jumped back into the independent music scene in 2012, but she was scared to do so because the black audience is fickle and they change on you. So check out what she had to say.
You dropped off the grid for a stretch.
18 years.
18 years.
I went through a divorce with the love of my life, Terry Lewis, which was tragic. I just had my daughter. I think she was 4 when we wound up getting a divorce. So that was like, I failed. It's like, darn it, that really bothered me. So it's like, I'm off. I got to get right. I got to step away from the business. I was going through a time of my mother was passing and a real tough time for me. But I'm such a driven woman. Terry and I had built this massive home with the best architects and everything before I was divorced, like maybe 4 years before. So I said, well, what do I know how to do? I didn't, only have a college education, so it was in real estate. So I bought a home from a lady and she wound up showing me how to flip homes. This is before the market started to turn, so it was very lucrative. I bought a bunch of foreclosures, rehabbed them. I had like 13 homes. I just kind of was making a lot of money doing my real estate. I loved the fact that I could be there with my daughter, pick her up from school, and because, having Terry Lewis as her dad, so I felt like somebody kind of had to step back. And then I looked up and I was like, I don't know how to get back in. I was like, they got Usher, they got Beyonce, y'all don't need Karyn White. It was fear. I've been gone so long. Do people still care?
That's what.
Because black folks, come on, it's about the next. That's the sad part about our culture. We got few. The Izies, outstanding. What's his name?
Oh,
Charlie Wilson.
Charlie. Yeah.
But not many have been able to be generational to where the young folks, you know what I mean? So we'll be like, on to the next, not on to the next. So that's why I was like, they don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so crazy how you could just really
lose sight of yourself.
But I'm glad I did, because I'm telling you guys, if you knew who I was, you did. If you didn't, I didn't care. My value wasn't in what I do anymore. That's all I knew. I was a kid.
Right.
I always wanted to do it. So I believe God just like you step back, and I just became just that woman.
So shout out to Karyn White. You know, we talked about this earlier. It can be greater later. We were talking about Halle Berry when we mentioned that. But, you know, it's hard to step out of a famous man's shadow, especially when you had your own light to begin with and change things up. But I do think that she brought up an interesting point about us as a Black audience. Sometimes we are so hard on our own, right? We expect a lot from them. We expect them to give and give and give. And then we tell them, go away. We're tired of seeing you, right? And we're like, why are you here? But then we wonder why sometimes our legends don't get the reverence, the respect that they deserve. So I just wanted to share that because, yeah, shout out to Karyn. So listen, coming up, right? I won't get to LaLa tonight. We'll talk about LaLa next week and her feelings on her divorce from Carmelo and her son leaving for college. But I have interviews coming up from the Harold and Carole Pump Foundation dinner. They are actually two gentlemen, Dana and David Pump. They are responsible for, if you remember, Pump and Jam back in the day. I think that's what it's called, AAU basketball. They have a charity foundation where they raise money for cancer research. And all of the legends showed up in the building. So we're going to be talking to Sugar Ray Leonard. This is in order of the interviews, by the way, because I don't know if I dropped all their names in there. Sugar Ray Leonard. We talked to him about women's boxing and the future of streaming. We talked to Johnny Gill about his spades battles. He said Sugar Ray is, well, I'll let you hear what he had to say about Sugar Ray. That's who he's beaten the most. We talked about his backyard barbecue and bringing it forward, and of course New Edition's legacy. I talked to David Justice and Ray Lewis. Actually, David Justice jumped in my interview with Ray Lewis, but he wouldn't stay and wait so I could ask him the Halle Berry question, which might have been rude because he was there with his wife Rebecca, but still, we talked to him a little bit. Okay, we talked to Brandon Jennings about his life on the Gilbert Arenas podcast now and the transition from hoops to fashion and podcasting. We also talked to Darryl Strawberry and Eric Davis, two South Central legends, about the lack of Black MLB players and just Darryl's journey. Talked to Byron Scott about jumping in the podcast game. Spike Lee, we talked to him about working with Denzel for the 5th time. Glynn Turman. We talked to him about the resurgence of cowboy culture because he is a cowboy. He participates in Bill Pickett's rodeo and things of that nature. And we talked to MLB legend Ozzie Smith about staying connected with players once you retire. So that's a lot. So when we come forward, lock in for those interviews. Enjoy your weekend. I will check you guys out Monday.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Imagine a world without heart disease and stroke, where every person has the chance to live a full and healthy life. Join us for a walk to save lives at the American Heart Association's Greater Los Angeles.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Monroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I want to ask you about, where boxing is, but I'm going to flip it and ask about women. Right now, Clarissa Shields is calling out Layla Ali. I want to know, one, have you ever been called out by a youngin? And then two, what are your thoughts on that? Is it kind of like a purposeless call out because Layla's been retired for so long and it kind of seems like it's just for clout?
I wouldn't use that word purposeless. I mean, it's what it is. You know, you have that, you should always, or we should always have that feeling of a fighter. Not physically per se, but mentally, psychologically. But you can do. I mean, I've made so many comebacks. I think I made the most comebacks in boxing history. I would think that. But you know, it is what it is.
So, let me ask you this. Right now, we have a lot of young fighters coming up. The kind of positioning, it's a little different. It's when you were fighting, I felt like there was one at a time, and now there's several. Who should we have our eye on as a consumer that's upcoming?
Well, you know what? I'm still watching it. And I don't know. The advanced technology has really taken me for a loop because I can't find the like back in the day. Fights were always on network television, NBC, ABC, CBS, and you know it's what it is. But you know, again, I hate to say this, but I'm an optimist. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get a lot better. A lot more champions.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
You're beautiful too.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I want to know, how do I get an invite to the backyard barbecue? Everybody wants to know.
Everybody keeps asking me. It's coming. I'm getting ready to do another one. And we got to figure out when, but it's coming. Listen, it's about reminding people what a good time looks like. And that's what we was doing. You'll see the who's who. Nobody's posing. Nobody's sitting there trying to figure out how cute they can look. We are just having a good old family time, a good time with just loving on each other and having a good time. So I'm going to do another one because everyone keeps asking me, when is our next one? When is our next one? So I'm trying to put it together and figure it out.
Are you spades or dominoes?
Spades.
Me too.
Me too. Dominoes too. But spades is, you know, I feel like it's for me. It's a little easier. Keeps me from having to use overrack my brains with counting. I need my hands, feet, and toes, everything with them.
Oh, so I want to know, who have you beaten that we would be surprised on the spades table?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Many people. People like Ray. People like Ray. People like Ray. And people like Ray. He sucks. To say the least, I own him.
I like that. All right, lastly, of course I have to ask you about New Edition. I am like a long-term New Edition fan, everything, every show. Perfect combination, all of that. So back in the day, there is a street being named in Boston after the group, which it includes you. We know you're DC in the house, all that. But we share that love. You guys are still touring. I'm going.
Yes.
How do you keep that energy up? Because to me, and I just want to share this, you guys are the greatest R&B group of all time. I know that the blueprint is the Jacksons, but I feel like there's never been a group that's had individual success the way that you guys had, the longevity, the continuance. So how does that feel? I mean, we've had movies.
I can sit here and we can talk about, oh, well, you know, I did this and we did this and we knew it was 30, 42 years later we would be. We don't know. We never knew, but we know the truth of the matter for all of us is that we worked hard and God saw fit to continue to keep us here doing what we do, and this is what our true destiny is, and we're so grateful for it, and even more now than ever as you get older, you know?
Man, thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry my eye is watering. I appreciate you so much, and invite me. I'm coming to the barbecue. I'm great on the spades table. Thank you so much.
Every time I see his pregame speeches to the team, I put my shoulder pads on at the crib on Sunday. I'm in the living room. I'm in the living room. What you talking about, boy? The best pregame speech. Boy, look here, bro. I'm telling you. He made me want to play football.
It was good times.
All right, y'all go down him in the run.
I love you, bro. It's so good to see you.
How does it feel to still hear people, talk about that portion of your life and give you those type of props?
Yeah, look, when I started this game, I didn't start the game before the game. I started this game to be remembered. And when you get people like that who pay attention to you, when you have people like Sosa and all these guys, it's priceless to know that they was paying attention that closely. I tell kids every day, you're always being watched. always. And that's the moment that it doesn't matter what they say, is how they say it.
Do you think athletes today understand that, what you just said, especially with social media, where they realize that people are looking at them, but that they're watching them as closely?
Yeah, I don't think nobody understands the impact of what social media has done, right? In the reverse way, right? So you take this platform and there's this falseness to it, right? Because it makes you something that you're not. Right? You say that I'm more popular if I have more followers. When I was in my basement, I was by myself. And a lot of greatness comes when you're by yourself, but it's a way to use it. And I think they should learn how to use it way better, because you're always being watched. Yeah.
Okay, last question. We're in preseason right now. What are your thoughts? You don't have a clue about nobody, nothing? I don't believe
I'm trying to tell you. I want to tell you the truth, but I don't have a clue. I promise I don't, because every time you think you got a clue, it always goes against you.
Okay, one last question, since you don't have a clue. Do you think the streaming schedule, streaming becoming involved, is going to change the game of football?
I think
because it was any given Sunday and Monday. Now it's Thursday, Friday, sometimes on.
And I think you have to figure out a way to take care of your product. There's only so much bodies can do without the proper recovery. So yeah, we're entertaining a lot of people, but in the long run, you hurt the athlete. And I don't care what you say, you're going from a Monday, Thursday to a Sunday. No. The battle doesn't happen like that. You know, lions don't fight every day. They fight when necessary. Well, men should have the same rules. We should fight when necessary, not because of money. It's the greatest thing out there. Yeah, I've never been a fan of that back-to-back-to-back football.
Gill's Arena, we obviously love you on it and all of the things that have branched out for it. Did you ever envision when you were stepping away from basketball that you would be a fashion designer, podcaster, producing your own events and all of those things?
No. I thought I would be playing in the NBA for about 15 years, but God had other plans for me, so I'm very enjoying being a podcaster, doing fashion and putting clothes on people.
So let me ask you, because you're so successful at it, do you ever talk to other players? Do they ever come to you kind of for advice or guidance as far as transitioning?
Yeah, some players have. One of the players that put me into the fashion and told me they was going to go was Jordan Clarkson. So, you know, it's been kind of like they've been helping me and I've been helping former players too.
It's a pleasure to talk to you, Mr. Strawberry. So, first of all, you are an icon, South Central legend. What does it feel like to still be in your community, still getting accolades, people still talking about your career and the pace that you set?
Well, this is home. Growing up in South Central LA and going to Crenshaw High and realizing that you want to get out of the ghetto to become something. That's special for all kids, and they should be able to know that you can't come from nothing and go to something. If you do have a dream and you believe in it, it can't work no matter what you go through. Life is going to have some challenges, and that's how you learn how to become better at what you do, and that's how you learn how to craft yourself into the person that you're supposed to be. It's not just about sports, it's about life. And I think a lot of times we misunderstand that, and we think it's really truly just all about sports and what people do in the sports field and how much success you have. But it's what you do after you take your uniform off and who you become and your purpose and your plan for this life. And then you can use all that you've experienced to help somebody else and show them that whatever you do, don't quit, don't give up.
So speaking of that, you mentioned that it's about what you do afterwards and the purpose. There are not as many young black men involved in the MLB as there were perhaps when you were coming up, and even then it was limited. Do those players reach out to you, the youth, high school? Do they make an effort to get in contact with you for advice or for guidance on where we're headed as far as...
Well, I think all black players have been very disappointed that has had great success at the major league level, because we think of the guys that came before us. We think of Jackie, Hank, and all those guys that came before us, and they set the table up for us to be able to come, and we got there and put the uniform on and was able to excel and do those things, and then to see it dwindle away. That's heartbreaking right there, because you think about inner city kids don't have the opportunity like most kids do. They don't have the means to be able to play in some of these programs because they're too expensive. And when you come from the ghetto in the hood, you just can't go out and buy every cleat, every bat, and have every glove. So I think baseball is doing a little bit better for them. I think they got more programs for them, which is really good to help the kids and give them an opportunity and a chance to see that, they're good athletes and that they can play. And maybe one day they'll get to the major leagues and be successful.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
So I had to make a commitment to the youth behind me, and that's the only how we stay connected is of us give what was given to us.
What is something new that you learned from working with Denzel this time, or that you learned about yourself and your connection?
I learned something about Denzel every time we worked together. And the first film was Mo Better Blues. That was 1990.
Bleak.
Artists don't stay static. They evolve. So it's amazing film together. It's just an honor to work with, honor and privilege to work with great Denzel Washington.
What made you feel like you needed your voice out there in the podcast space right now?
You know what, to be honest with you, I didn't really feel I needed it, to be honest with you. I just enjoy it, and when I was approached by doing a podcast, after talking to Brian, he was like, look, your connections and me being in this space for so many longs, I think this can work. And I said, all right, well, let's try it.
What do you think about the resurgence of the cowboy era, sort of ushered in by Beyonce, but still spreading and more people attending the rodeo? Kind of felt like we forgot about that part of our heritage for some.
Well, y'all finally caught up with me.
That's right.
Most of us gravitate, when we retire, we gravitate to the game of golf. Because there's a competitive void in our lives and stuff. So I get to see the guys periodically, but I don't know if they're all have that many of them at the same place at the same time. And if the pump's got something to do with it, you can believe that there's going to be a lot of stars around.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A new study finds air pollution from U.S. oil and gas companies is hitting minorities the hardest, causing 91,000 premature deaths each year. Black, Asian, Native American, and Hispanic communities bear the biggest toll, with links to asthma, preterm births, and early deaths. There's a shakeup at New Orleans City Hall. Joe Thread has been named Chief Administrative Officer as